want to point out something that's really important. So what Keith just said, people get a little annoyed by ads in their news feed, but they've actually by now been trained to tolerate it. Yep. Facebook is the only company in the world that is getting away with this on mobile phones.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if you think about ads on mobile phones, for years, Ken, you had Ken Dushinsky and these other people come to the system, and they go, mobile's going to be huge, and everybody's, walking down the street, running into light poles, looking at their phone, right?
Right.
But, okay, so how do you target mobile users? Well, you can't really text them unless they really like you, right?
Exactly.
Can you advertise to them with those little banner ads? No, they're like practically worthless. Google's hardly gotten anywhere with mobile phones. Sure, you can do some stuff with maps, but in Facebook, you can get the full screen of their phone in their news feed. You can pay to be there, and you'll be there. And nobody's cracked the code on that except Facebook. Facebook basically owns the mobile phone. So since everybody's on their phone all the time, and they're on their computers less than they're on their phone many times, this is a really big deal. So you go back to what Keith was saying, but this is really important.
Exactly. So on a macro level, that's why Facebook bought WhatsApp then, the mobile chat.
Yeah, I think it's like Google buying YouTube. We've got friends, I won't name names, but they're like, oh, well, that was stupid. Look at what those silly kids do with $2 billion. Well, do you think that was stupid anymore?
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, I'm getting it. Well, this is almost a topic for a whole call, which is if Facebook is the only way to, it sounds like Facebook, we're saying, Perry, and correct me if I'm getting this wrong, if you want to advertise on mobile, Facebook is pretty much the only rational, workable way to do it today. Is that fair?
Yeah, especially if you want to interrupt them anytime you want, not just when they're looking for a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not like some gaming, some kid's game or something like that, besides any other business besides that, it's pretty powerful. And the other thing that, this is more speculation, but the data that Facebook is getting from the buyout, like with WhatsApp, where the potential possibilities to be able to get that data and literally harvest that and place an ad on somebody's Facebook news feed on what they were texting about the day before, texting about going to the doctor or the dentist or something like that. So there's a lot going on here, behind the scenes. There's another thing that you might not realize either, that Facebook we have access with targeting now, not just only based on people's likes and interests for, what they put inside Facebook, not only what they put in their profile or what pages that they like if they like ESPN, the magazine, or InStyle, or, Tony Robbins, but we now have access to offline data, okay? We're talking about home mortgage information, frequent flyer miles, shopping rewards programs. So there's big data companies that sell this data to, credit card companies, and a lot of the big direct mail companies buy this data, and it all comes from people's all across the board, basically credit card data, et cetera, like I just mentioned. Well, there's three big companies, Datalogic, Epsilon, and Inspiron, and they have partnered with Facebook. And so now as a Facebook advertiser, you can go in and access that data. So now I can create a post on Facebook, I can create a quick 10-minute YouTube video, and I can place that in the news feed of people who I know that have a house value of over $1 million and shop for organic foods. Whether they've liked a Facebook page ever in their life, it takes that data and it matches it up with their Facebook account profile. So now we have access to all that stuff. I can target people based on if they own a Harley-Davidson, if they drive a BMW, if they drive a car between $25,000 and $35,000, their net worth, their income, their shopping habits, their voting, if they donate to religious charitable causes, or if they donate to liberal charitable causes. This wouldn't be charitable causes, I guess, but you get the point. There's massive data, and it's getting, every single week, the list is getting bigger and bigger and more refined.
So Facebook is acquiring these databases and matching them to their users, so that when you say, give me all the guys that have houses that are worth more than $1 million and are vegans,
yes,
you can target that group using Facebook.
This is why Facebook is kicking ass now. You know, the first time you interviewed me and Tom Malash about Facebook, it worked for about 10 or 15% of the businesses out there because you could only target people based on what they put in their profile and what they liked. And now you add all this demographic and psychographic data, which is in itself like what only, years ago, only the very best direct mail people even had access to anyway. And now, if you want to target 500 people in South Dakota that contribute to the Republican Party or something like that, you can.
So, and Perry, remember that guy down in, I guess he was in Austin? And
Drew.
And he was from the direct mail world, and he had laboriously, over many years, assembled.
Ben Morris, Crystalytics, yes.
Yeah, and we were just drooling over that, and wow, how can we access that, and how can we use that? Facebook's kind of solved that problem. We don't need to get involved in hugely expensive data set acquisitions. We can just tell Facebook we want everybody in California that drives a BMW and says they like golf.
Yeah, Facebook can't do all the things a person like Ben can do, but they definitely have a big data and demographics and psychographics for civilians, and it's pretty good.
Got it. All right, so let's then and of course we can't, if we're staying just at the realm of boost post, it's clear that we're not going to access that level of specificity.
Right.
So this is motivation to go up the tree a little bit and really see how this thing really works. So all right, let's say I figured out my ideal customer, where they live and maybe certain things that I know that they own, and I've got it. I'm like, okay, this is who I want to reach. Now what do? I make an ad, of course. And all this presupposes that you have products and you have sales systems, and that when somebody clicks on this ad, it's going to go somewhere that, converts. We just have to assume that part. So I've got all that, and now I've got all that in place, and now I've got this shopping list of who I really want to send my ads to. Without getting into the technical part of this, what happens? I go, I say, Facebook, here's what I want to reach, and then they come back and give you an automatic quote of what it's going to cost. Do they charge you by the impression? Do they charge you by the click? How does this pan out in reality?
Yeah, so great question. So basically, once you start to narrow down your precise interest and you start to create that ad, let's say you created a post with a video that's on your page, and you want to boost that post. You want to sponsor that and show it in the news feed to people that, like we said, people that maybe drive a BMW and also vote Republican and live in California. So you're gonna choose all those things, and then you're gonna get down to the bottom of your ad, and it's gonna have the bidding. First of all, the whole time you're doing that, on the right side, it's gonna show you the potential reach. So if you start a brand new ad, it's I forget what the number is, but it's it's in the multi-millions, right? Because it's worldwide. And then as you start to narrow it down to the United States, Canada, UK, Australia, the number on the right side will start to shrink as you start to add more precise interests. So it's really fun to get in there. That's why I tell people to go and create an ad. Go to facebook.com/advertising and kind of get in there and mess around and start putting different precise interests in there, and then you'll start to see that number go from 200 million to 800,000, and then now let's say you put Tony Robbins in there, and then you put 45 years old to 65 years old, and then college graduates only, and then all of a sudden your target audience is 280,000. And so it'll start to shrink down, basically. And then when you get down to the bottom, then that's what happens. It's really fun to do, to be honest with you. So, and then when you get down to the bottom of that, it'll have your bidding. And so you can either bid cost per click, and they'll give you a suggested range, just like Google. And let's say it might be between 50 cents and 80 cents. And so that's your suggested cost per click. And then you can bid anywhere in between there, or higher than that if you want, or lower than that if you want. And then once your ad starts to run, your actual cost will happen, and it will typically be lower than the suggested bid was. And then you can reduce your bid if you want, or increase it if you're not getting impressions. You can also bid on CPM bidding. And then Facebook also has a thing called optimized CPM. And this is a little bit, confusing, but basically it's actually a great way to bid right now, and we're getting some great results using Facebook's optimized CPM bidding. And you can put something like, you can choose website conversions for your goal, for your objective, and then you can let Facebook optimize that bid process.